Today I want to show you how to hand piece a half square triangle block. So this is what it looks like when it's done. These little patches here. And so I've got both of my patches marked with seam allowances on the back, and I'm just going to, what we're shooting for here, let me just show you, is this. We're going to sew along this part of the triangle. So I always kind of like to work on the light side if possible. So I'm just going to pin right here, coming right up in that seam intersection. So you're shooting right for that corner. And the same thing here. You can see where I marked it, I kind of overshot it, but it doesn't really matter. And then if you want, you can do one right here in the middle. Okay, I'm going to grab my thimble for my middle finger. I've got a needle and thread. Do I have a knot? I have a knot, good. And even though it might seem like a waste of time that I pinned that, because I'm going to take it right out, it does keep everything nicely lined up. You want to really be accurate when you're hand piecing, so I like to make sure everything's pinned nice. I'm going to take that out. Again, you always start on the top side. I'm going to go right in that little corner, come up for my locking stitch, and then back stitch a little bit, and just sew right along the stitching line with the stitches as small as you can make them. Don't overthink it. They don't have to be perfectly consistent. Once you get however many it starts to feel a little awkward, just pull it through, do a little smoothing action, back stitch a little bit, and keep going. One thing that I really like about hand piecing is that your stitches don't actually show on the front of the work. Hand quilting, you do kind of want those stitches to be really consistent and tiny, and this is a really good way to practice it because it's very much the same motion as hand quilting, and it's a good way to practice in a place that nobody sees. So that is actually one of my favorite things about it. And just back and forth, and as soon as that needle touches the back of my finger there, I know it's time for it to come back up. And here we go. We're almost to the corner. And a lot of how you hold your needle, you hold your work, which fingers you use, it's all very personal. I know Jenny Byers keeps her index finger right up here. She's like the queen of hand piecing. And I tried that for a long time. It felt awkward on my wrist, and my hand always just floated back till I know that this is the middle finger is the one that I need for that needle to touch in the back. And again, that's just something that I learned over time. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick little back stitch, and I'm gonna come right up at that pin in the corner, take it out. We're just gonna do our quick knot, tiny little stitch, and go knot it twice, and these little snips are great. Snip. And there we go. If you want, you can use a little roller. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just trim off these little dog ears, and I'll show you how to join two half square triangles together. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how to sew two half square triangles together. So we're going to put them together this way. I'm going to flip it over. Again, we're just going to line them up like this. And this is a little tricky because you have this in the way, but I'm still just going to follow that line and come up right in the corner where we're going to start. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to pin the same way, come up right in the corner. And I think I am going to choose to not pin that one because it's kind of a small patch. Okay, I am knotted. So I'm going to hold this. I'm going to immediately take out the pin that I just put in. And so if you really come right in that corner, you should not hit any of your seam allowances. Okay, so I'm just going to come up right there. And again, I'm just going to do my little running stitch back and forth, back and forth. I often really kind of chip up this side of my nail, to be honest with you. So in some ways the hand sewing can be a little hard on your hands, calluses and fingernails, but I think the mental aspects are worth it. So here we're just going to keep going. I don't like how I did that one. And pull it through. Make sure my thread's in good shape here. I'm using Aurifil 80 weight thread, which is really thin and silky. I often use 50 weight, but I'm experimenting with the 80 weight and I like it. Okay, I can feel that my seam allowance is coming up back here. So again, I'm going to pull it away. I'm going to come up here so I can make sure everything's good. So that's pulled away because I don't want to stitch it down. And I'm just gonna, oh, that's too big. Finish up here, and I'm going to come up. That's pulled out of the way, and the seam allowance in the back. I'm gonna come up right at the pin. It's a nice little target. Still, there we go. Still holding that out of the way. I'm going to do my knot. 1, 2, clip it, and then we're just going to open this up, and it looks just like that. And then this is going to be in the seam allowance for the other blocks, and that's how you do a half square triangle.